Most women who come to me are eating 1,300 calories a day and still not losing. I'm Selena. I coach women in their 30s and 40s to lose fat while eating more without cutting out carbs, tracking forever, and without the whole thing falling apart when life gets busy. We've coached 415 women over the last 3.5 years, and 95% of them stay with us month after month. Nobody we coach eats under 1,500 calories. Most of them finish eating 300 to 600 more calories a day than when they started with us, and they're leaner and more fit than when they walked in. This is the Reclaim method. It gets you through the body change, and it holds through a weekend away at the cabin or a work trip or even a vacation. We take 10 new women a month. Every plan goes through me, and if you want one of those spots, apply down below. Then let me tell you exactly why nothing has worked for you yet. Every time you've stalled, you've been told the same thing. Eat less, move more, cut something out. So you did 10 times, 15 times. And every round ended with you eating even less than you were doing the round before that, and you get nothing in return. Here's what I want you to sit with. You are good at hard things. You run a team, maybe a department, a household, maybe all three. You solve problems all day long, problems that other people can't. You are not a person who lacks discipline, but you've been applying discipline to the wrong instruction, to the wrong plan. Every plan you have ever bought was built for a perfect week. A week where nothing happens. No travel, no deadline week, no kid homesick, no dinner out that you didn't schedule, nobody's birthday. If you count your normal weeks, what do we come out to? Maybe 20 a year, maybe. So you just bought a plan that works for 20 weeks out of the year, where the other 32, you just feel like you failed or that you thought it was your fault. That's what the whole industry is. You buy more things that are meant to be short term and not built for your life. It's built for a version of your life that doesn't exist. So here's your actual week. You eat almost nothing until 3 in the afternoon because you're busy and it feels like maybe you're getting ahead. You're in the pantry at 9 at night, maybe at 4 p.m. as well. And you feel and think, how did I get here? Saturday, you're out. Maybe it's okay, it's fine. Sunday, you're out, it's not fine. Sunday night, you decide once again, Monday's the day. You've decided Monday's the day, maybe 200 times. You're cooking the same 4 meals because deciding is worse than eating the same thing. You look at a weekend away and first thing you think about is how stressful it's gonna be. So you go, you enjoy maybe 60%, but the other 40% you're stressed and thinking about the numbers and the math and going home and being on plan again. One of my clients told me before we started that she wasn't showing up for her kids or her husband, but she wasn't talking about her weight. She was talking about how consumed she had become with all of the food noise and the information. That is the real cost, not the number, but the time that it spends in your head every single day. So there are 3 things going on. 1, you're not eating enough Monday to Friday. 1,500 calories during the week, 3,000 calories on the weekend. Nearly every single woman that comes to us is running some sort of version of that. She thinks the weekend's the problem. But when you undereat for 5 out of 7 days, how can the weekend not be the problem? And then when you eat that low for years, your body adapts, holds on harder. So the number that used to work stops working and you cut again. And that's the loop. That's the cycle, which means the only way out is up. I know how that sounds. I've had clients say, I'm scared I'll gain weight. One told me that it was crazy. Tracy's 44, a vice principal. She spent a long time eating less and less and less. And we had a blunt conversation and I put her at 1,800 and told her, this is the only way. Like, this is what we need to do. I really need you to focus and make sure you're eating that amount. She just hit her lowest weight. And here's another client. I'm loving the 1,900 calories. I think things are progressing in a way I want without feeling restricted. Shut up. 1,900 calories, progressing, not restricted. And then number 2, every food decision starts from scratch. Make 1,000 calls a day at work, by 6 o'clock, you're done. If dinner is still a question or unknown, then it's gonna be whatever's quick, whatever's easy, and it's probably not gonna be the most ideal. And then 3, there's no room in the plan. If it only works when you're perfect, then nothing's ever going to work out. Wedding isn't a wedding, it's a test. You're gonna fail. And then you think, okay, once I've blown it, why not just wait until Monday and start again? Everyone teaches you how to be perfect. All of the plans teach you how to be perfect. This is the perfect plan, but nobody teaches you how to come back, how to continue when things aren't perfect. And that's what the Reclaim method is built to fix. And there are 3 parts of it, 1 for each of those. So 1 is the floor. We put your calories back where they belong. Nobody I coach eats under 1,500 calories. We start you in a slight deficit, never starvation, never low, and we build you up from there. So your body stops fighting you and every single weekend stops being the time that you restart. Number 2 is the anchored plate. Structure. So dinner isn't a decision at 6 o'clock. You get a way to build a plate and a system, even when you're in a chaotic week. Because I trained as a chef before I started coaching. And I will never just be handing you a sad chicken, rice, and broccoli meal that you need to eat for 12 months straight. And then number 3 is the return. A skill that nobody sells you. How to eat at the wedding, the work dinner, the vacation, the cabin on the weekend. And then come back the next day without any stress, without having to reset. You aren't avoiding it. You're just returning. And that's the whole difference between 6 months of making consistent progress and another year of trying to be perfect. Fix all 3 of those and you're not just on a plan anymore. Like, this is your lifestyle now. Amanda came to me at 31. She works in food service, long chaotic hours, surrounded by food, eating at weird times, which mostly meant nothing all day. And then everything at night. She gained 20 pounds on our consultation call. She said to me, just every time I look in the mirror, I hate what I see. A year later, 35 pounds down, she said this: I feel incredibly proud every time I look in the mirror. My body is looking so strong, so good. I'm excited for bikini season for the first time ever. She's getting married this August. Here's what she sent me about her bridal shower. I bought a new dress and I feel so good. The confidence my new body and mindset has given me is crazy. Sarah, 43. Healthcare executive, 2 kids. She came to me at her highest weight she'd ever seen and told me she was ashamed to be seen and that she was neglecting her health. 2 months later, she was 15 pounds down and 4 inches off her waist. And what she actually wrote to me was more energy, better self-confidence, more interest in things I haven't had in years, feeling like my old self. That's what I'm actually in this for. Not the 15 pounds of feeling like my old self. Bobby, 42, 2 kids, works from home, 25 pounds and 3.5 inches off her waist in 6 months. Her words: my pictures are still blowing me away. I look like a different person. Lori, 50, director of sales and marketing, struggled with this most of her life. 4 months in, I have never felt as comfortable in my body as I do now. Who knew at 50 this would be when it would happen? Aline, 42, teacher and a mom, 13 pounds and 4 inches, and she's back in clothes that didn't fit her last year. Beth is 31, has struggled with food her whole entire life. 2.5 months. I'm feeling strong and the number on the scale is actually moving for once in my life. Natalie, 38, clinical chemist, an inch off her waist in her first month, and she's not stress eating on vacation. And here's the part I actually get so fired up about. So many women now have been through a wedding weekend, a work trip, a vacation, a weekend at the cabin, without that Monday reset and without the guilt after. And this is what they've been saying. For the first time in a very long time, I don't feel guilty eating out or eating a few pieces of chocolate here and there. And it is not perfect. I'm not in a mindset of all or nothing while on vacation. Even being away over the weekend and eating completely off plan, I lost 3 pounds this last week, taking me lower than I have been in years. I'm not doing this whole save my calories and then splurge on the meal later. I'm making better choices and it's one meal. It won't kill me to go off plan once. And this one from Amanda, which is the one I'd want for you. If this was my body for the rest of my life, I would be so happy. She stopped chasing. She stopped chasing. This is what I want you to get to. I went to culinary school before I did any of this. So the food in your plan is food you'd actually want to eat. Built for when a week can go wrong, when it's not perfect. You get a coach, an actual person, one-on-one, not just a group chat with 200 other women in it. There are 3 of us. We work every client together and I write every protocol that goes into it. And that's why it's 10 spots a month and not 100. And like I said, there's a floor. I will not take you below 1,500 calories ever, no matter what the scale is doing. That one rule is the difference between a lifestyle and just another quick diet. Quick fix. And that is the difference between what I do and everything else that you've done. You get nutrition built around what you actually want to eat and recipes that don't take hours to make. Training that fits the week that you actually have. Not what someone else has, but what you specifically have. Weekly check-ins with your coach. Look at the data before we read your notes. Direct access when something comes up. A work trip or a bad week or a wedding. And the whole reclaim system. So at the end of this, you're running it yourself. So the first 2 weeks, you're gonna eat more than you're probably used to. Everyone goes through that. Energy is usually the first thing to come back. Weeks 3 to 6 is where the evenings settle. The 9 o'clock pantry gets quiet. And maybe that's before the scale's done anything interesting. Maybe it has done something interesting. Who knows? It's just a tool. And it's not the whole picture. Ashley is 42. Over a year with us, she lost 11 pounds. That's not like a crazy number. She completely changed her body composition. And what she said was, all my pants fit. Getting dressed and not worrying about if things will be too tight is so nice. I notice feeling stronger and leaner. Some of my best results are the smallest numbers. That's normal. That's okay. That's body composition, baby. So let me say the thing that you're not gonna say out loud. You've spent money on this before, more than once, and it didn't work. So somewhere in the back of your head, you've decided that the problem was you, which means spending money again isn't scary because of the money. It's scary because it might prove it. I've watched women get off the call with me completely lit up and they say, yeah, I can make this work. This is doable. And then they talk themselves out of it that night. Not because of the money, or the cost because they don't believe in themselves and they don't believe that they'll follow through. Here's what I'd say to that. Every program you quit because it required a perfect week to week. You didn't fail. You just had a life, and the plans had no room in them for a life. But the return exists specifically for this. And because of that, it is the part of this that assumes that things are gonna go sideways. And 95% of the women we coach are still here month after month. Nobody stays somewhere for a year while failing. Some of you are thinking, I already have a trainer, I'll just train harder. I hear this a lot. I'm not gonna talk down on your trainer, but the gym is a few hours of your week. Your problem is 6 o'clock on a Tuesday when you don't have a session, when you have no idea what's for dinner. You have no idea what you're supposed to eat. You haven't ate since breakfast. No amount of training is going to solve that. And overtraining on a body that is underfed makes that so much worse. It's not gonna progress you. And if you're about to say, let me think about it, that's fair. Just be honest about what you need to think about. If it's whether this is the right fit, that's what the call's for. If it's whether you're worth it, you know I can't answer that for you. Nothing dramatic happens if you wait. That's the problem. You do another year of it, another year of 1,500 calories, 3,000 calories on the weekend, another year of deciding Monday is the day. Every round of cutting calories makes the next round harder, and you lose a bit more muscle every year in your 30s and 40s. And then that belief hardens. It stops being, this hasn't worked yet, and becomes, I just can't eat like that. I can't eat like a normal person. That's what it costs you. Cost you your life. That's the expensive part, and it's very hard to undo. So we take 10 new women a month, and that's why 95% of them stay. This isn't for you if you just want to be handed a meal plan and told what to do for 6 weeks and not want that lifestyle change. It's for you if you are done doing this every year, every week, every month. You actually want to learn how to feed yourself and feel like the most boss, best version of yourself. So click below and fill out the application. It takes a couple of minutes. If it looks like a good fit, I'll book you in for a call with us, and then we'll go through where you're at and whether or not we're a good fit for each other. And if it isn't, we'll tell you. 415 women have done this. The next vacation could just be a vacation and not a super stressful situation. That's what you're applying for.